If you are writing JAMB this year, then this is the most important video you are going to be coming across today. You should be thanking your God that you came across this video, because in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to actually answer JAMB questions correctly in the exam hall, and how to pick the best choice for a particular question even when you don't know the original answer and the right answer to that particular questions. Because eventually you are going to come across some questions whereby you don't know the answer. You don't even know. You take a look at option A, option B, option C, option D. You don't know which of them is the correct answer. You are so lost. Then you end up guessing blind, but you are about to throw away a very precious amount of mark. Because if you really want to pass your exam, then every single question matters a lot. You are going to end up throwing away a lot of marks unless you know the 6 secret strategies and techniques JAMB themselves uses to construct their options. Patterns that let you eliminate the wrong answers without you even knowing the topic. I am about to show you something that sounds illegal, but it isn't. Something that JAMB doesn't want you to know, but thank God you found this video. I'm going to be exposing them today. There are 6 psychological tricks built into how JAMB creates their multiple choice questions. And if you know these tricks, it's going to help you boost your score by 30 to 50 marks just by making smarter guesses. Before I show you the 6 real tricks that work in the JAMB exam hall, I need to expose a dangerous lie that I've been spreading here on YouTube, and many YouTube creators, educational content creators, have been lying to you about this thing. Sometimes even your teachers and your mentors still lie to you about this particular thing. You've probably heard of it. And what is that? They're going to tell you that if you don't know the answer to a particular question, just pick option C. You've heard that, right? They'll tell you that pick option C. Option C is statistically more likely to be correct. But that's a terrible advice, and I will not advise you to implement that. And here's why. JAMB, as we all know, is a CBT, a computer-based test. Now, when you go to the exam hall, let's say for a batch, all of you are going to be writing the same questions for that particular batch. Let's say the 9 a.m. batch. But the thing is that the questions are randomized and the options are also randomized. Most people know already that the questions are randomized, but the options are also randomized. So your option A might be somebody's option D, and your option C might be somebody else's option B. So when some of these YouTubers tell you to pick option C, they are not giving you any good advice. They are just giving you random advice, and that is gambling, which will lead to your own failure. But thank God I have come to your rescue, and I am about to show you the 6 real tricks that actually work. I actually use them myself, so you should know you are on a safer side. Now, these 6 real tricks are based on how the questions are written, not how or where the options are positioned. In the next few minutes, I'm going to be revealing all 6 tricks from the least powerful to the most powerful one, which actually works. And when you get to number 1, you will understand why is it that some students actually guess better than others. But if you leave this video now, or you just follow, let's say, the 6th, 5th and the others, and you don't watch every single thing, you're going to be following that pick option C nonsense. And if you do that, you are going to be throwing away important marks that may cost you your admission. Yes, because if you take a look at, even if you fall short of your cutoff mark by just 1 mark, you are not going to be considered for admission. So you see the importance of just 1 mark. And how these 6 tricks are is that they all work together. So you cannot just apply only 6 and 5 for it to work properly. You need to apply all of them in synchrony. And after listing all the tricks, I'm going to be showing you how you can actually apply all 6 of them. How you can incorporate them together to pick the best choice, even when you have no idea of the answer. You see, JAMB questions are written by humans, and humans follow patterns when creating wrong answers, what we call distractors. The question setters have unconscious biases in how they phrase things, how they create traps, and how they structure options. And the good news is that once you know these patterns, you can actually exploit them to know the correct answers and pick it, regardless of which letters it happens to fall on. Now, I am counting down from 6 to 1, saving the most important trick for the last. Are you ready? Let's go. Trick number 6, and this alone can save you 5 to 8 marks. This is what I call the length pattern. JAMB examiners unconsciously, without knowing, often set the correct option a bit longer or more detailed than the wrong options. Why? Because the correct answer needs to be technically accurate. So they are going to add qualifiers like in most cases, primarily, under normal conditions, Let me give you an example. The wrong option can be like photosynthesis produces oxygen, and the correct answer will be like photosynthesis produces oxygen as a byproduct of the light dependent reactions. And you see now, the correct option is a bit longer and more detailed. However, and this is very, very important, they know that you know this trick. So sometimes I'm going to make the wrong option a bit longer just to confuse you and to trap you. But here's how to make use of this trick. Whenever you see a particular option and it is a bit longer than the other, it is either two things. It is either that is the correct answer or that is the trap. But here is the strategic approach to actually fight it. Now, when you have that particular long option, you are going to eliminate the other two shortest options, which you are definitely sure that's not the answer. You're going to be left with what? That long option and the medium one, which you think might also be the answer. Now you're left with what? 50-50 chance. You've taken it from just the 25%, if it were just part of that 4 other options, to 50-50. And that is all for secret number 6. And secret number 6 is actually the weakest of them all, like I said. Now, secret number 5 is where things get interesting. Now we have trick number 5. This one catches so many students. Yes, it is the extreme value trap. When JAMB gives you numerical options, they love to include extreme values, the highest number in the option and the least number in the option. These are the traps. Now let me give you an example. Let's say you have a question and they're asking you to calculate the average speed. In the list of options there, you have A, 5 meters per second, B, 50 meters per second, C, 25 meters per second, and D, 85 meters per second. What do you notice? You can see that what the option D, which is 85 meters per second, is way higher than the other 3 options which are close together: 5, 15, 25. So 85 there is the extreme value. 90% of the time, extreme values are wrong. They are psychological traps because your brain sees 85 and be like, 85 is so different from the other options, so it must be special. But that is a trick. Unless the question specifically asks the maximum value, the minimum value, the greatest value, or the least value, then that extreme value might be correct. So how do you apply this in the exam hall? If the question is asking for normal calculation and then you are seeing an extremely high value, eliminate that first. Now your list of options have now come down to 2 or 3 options which are actually practical. These have narrowed down your guess. You can now make an educated guess from those list of fewer options. Trick 5 talks about extreme value trap, right? But trick 4, this is where you start finding hidden clues in your question. Trick number 4, and this is pure gold. This is what I call the questions contains the answer. Sometimes JAMB accidentally gives you clues within the question stem itself. They're going to be incorporating keywords into the options that actually tell you which of the options make sense. Now, a question can say, which of the following is responsible for the green color in plants? Now, the word green there is a clue. You're going to be looking at the options, looking for what relates to green. You're going to see an option saying what? Chlorophyll. Now, chloro means what? Green, and boom, that is your answer. A question can say, what is the primary function of what? Now, the word primary there is your clue, because when they're talking about primary characteristic or something, now they're not asking for the secondary characteristic. So sometimes in the options they may give all of them that can give you the functions of that thing, but that word primary is telling you to what? Identify the most important function or characteristic of that thing, not things that are just affiliates or secondary characteristic of that particular thing they are asking you questions on. In the exam hall, underline or mentally highlight keywords in the particular question. Keywords like always, never, most, primary, main, increase, decrease, constant, variable, first, last, initial, final. All these words are some keywords that can actually change the entire concept of a particular question if they are included or if they are not. Once you've identified any of these words in your question, then you're going to scan the options to check for the root of the option that directly addresses those keywords. The wrong options often ignores those specific qualifiers. And that's trick 4. The questions actually contains what? Clue to its own answers. But the remaining tricks which I'm going to be mentioning, trick 3, 2, and 1. These last 3 tricks actually helped me to guess in my JAMB, because there were some about 10 questions which I didn't know the answer across biology and physics. I used these last 3 tricks and I was able to get 7 out of them correctly. Yes, I remember those questions, and when I came back I only filled 3 out of those 10 questions. So you can see that they actually work. Trick number 3. Now, this is pure logic and it's actually beautiful. It is the similar options rule. When two options are indirectly saying the same thing, then both of them are wrong. Now, this is actually very, very important because this one is actually very applicable when it comes to JAMB questions. There are two cases involved. First one is when you see two options. Let's say a particular option can be saying the same thing, and then the next option will be saying that same thing in a different kind of way. Or they can give you two options, one supporting it and one going against it. The one is supporting it and one is going against it. Then you know that it's either between the one that is supporting that thing, that is claiming that thing to be true, or the one that is saying that thing is false. The second case is much more understandable, but the first case is where most students feel, and that is where I'm going to be emphasizing on. When two options are indirectly saying the same thing. So in the exam hall, always scan for similar options first. When you see similar options, group them together. Okay, now if you can't distinguish between those two similar options that are likely saying the same thing, then you need to eliminate them totally because they are both wrong. That's it for trick number 3, and now we are going into the top 2 tricks, and they are actually advanced ones, so you need to pay attention carefully because this one is where you are going to be making intelligent guesses, and this is what separates the 350 plus scorers and the 250 plus scorers, because those 350 plus scorers are going to come across questions that they do not know, but the difference between them is that they are going to be guessing intelligently to still land on the correct option. So if you want to do that, then make sure you pay attention for these last 2 tricks. Very, very important. Now, trick number 2. This one is actually advanced logic. It is the all/none principle. Whenever you see absolutes like these words in your options, whenever I see absolute like all, none, impossible, always, must, whenever I see any of these words in any particular option in your exam, these are almost always wrong. And this is because science and most JAMB subjects deals with exceptions. Now, absolute words like this are easy to disprove, so JAMB examiners always avoid making them the correct answers. Options with qualifiers like generally, in most cases, often, usually, when an option contains this set of qualifiers, these are the ones that are more likely to be correct, because examiners can actually defend those answers even when they have few exceptions because of the use of those words. Something like what generally, or something like in most cases. It's not absolute. It's not telling you that in every single case, but it's saying what in most cases. That's trick number 2, the all/none principle. And now we're going to be going into trick number 1, and this is the most powerful trick I've ever discovered. Are you ready to know this one now? Now we have trick number 1, and it is the most powerful and most counterintuitive pattern in JAMB multiple choice. It is called the Detailed Distractor, and it flips every single thing you think you know about JAMB exams and picking the correct option. Here's what student thinks: the option with the most detailed specification and technical terms, that should be the answer because it sounds pleasing to the ear and it sounds a bit long, right? That's exactly the trap. JAMB knows this, and this is where they get students. JAMB examiners create what I call the Detailed Distractor, a wrong option that sounds too sophisticated to confuse students who have known the topic. And this is how it works. Sometimes they can ask you, most of the times where this question comes in is where they ask you which of the following statements is correct regarding a particular, let's say, thing they're talking about. And how do they do this? Let's say they're going to make the statement long, and for the first half of the statement, or for the most part of the statement, things that they're going to say there will be correct. Then they're going to add just a little bit of nuance, just something wrong inside that statement, right? You that don't fully know that topic very, very well, since you've seen things that you know about that topic in that particular option, that other thing that was added that you don't know about that particular topic, you would still end up picking because you think that, yeah, all these other things that I've mentioned is correct. Or even if you know it, here's another way that you have probably come across questions like this. They're going to say which of the following statements is correct, and you have I statement, I, and IV, like that, stuff like that. Now, here's how they're going to get you. Sometimes these questions, right? Option, the first one will be correct. Let's say the second one will be wrong, and then the third one will be that distractor option, and then the fourth one will also be correct. Okay. Now, here's how they're going to arrange it. They're not going to tell you that only I and II is correct. No. They are going to say I and that wrong option might be correct. They can give you the second original correct option, and that distractor option can be correct. Then they can give you the obviously wrong and the distractor option can be correct. And then they can say then just let's say just one of the correct options is correct. So now you are confused. And then the only one that seems correct is the one that contains 2 correct answers that you know. So you're still going to end up picking that option. So I'm going to advise you, whenever you're reading a particular topic, it is not good for you to crash read, because if you crash read, especially most of the times, where these get students is in physics, if you crash read, you are going to ignore some subtle things which you think they may not test, and that is where JAMB gets you. That particular thing which you think they are not going to test, that is exactly what JAMB is going to test. And when they bring it in this kind of question formats, you might know some things from that topic and you might not know some of the things. So they are trying to test multiple concepts at once. That's the purpose of similar questions. I bet you have seen them before. So while you are reading, ensure you go through every single thing and know every single thing about that particular topic. Every single thing required of you to know by your syllabus, because most at times, this thing is even more than 50% probability. That particular thing which you think you are not going to see, you are going to see it. And that happened to me in my subjects like physics, right? There are some things that, like, I've told you this before actually, that I neglected, and I said, I actually searched for them and I was like, this thing is too complex to come out. And I end up not knowing it, not mastering it. Lo and behold, my third, fifth, and 10th questions were coming from those areas, right? But for the first question, I was able to actually tackle it because I read that thing well, right? So these are things that JAMB used to get you. I know this sounds like it contradicts trick number 7, the length pattern, right? But that's exactly the point. JAMB knows that students are already knowing this particular trick number 6. Like I told you, it can either be the correct option or the trap, while I was talking about trick number 6. So because they know that students already know this, they are going to create trap options that are long and detailed, but inside them, they're going to impute some technical jargons and some nuances inside that particular statement, which if you have know that particular topic, that is what you're going to pick. So here's your power move, and here's what to do when you come across long options. You're going to ask yourself, is this option that contains super detailed and technical terms that's actually making you feel dumb? You're going to ask yourself, is this particular option, is it answering the question that was asked directly, or is it just trying to show off? If a question asks for the main reason and one gives you PhD level explanation and adding unnecessary things, and the other just give you the simple answer and straightforward, go for that simple one. That is usually the best choice. I want you to remember this, very, very important. These tricks that I've mentioned, they do not, and I repeat, they do not replace studying. No, you have to study. I'm not advising you not to study. But these tricks are helpful. They are just your insurance policy. Whenever you come across a particular question and you have absolutely no idea of what the option is and you are running out of time. Let's say you're on question 150 or 160 and you have about 20 questions left. And let's say you are on 10 minutes. You have just 10 minutes to answer those questions. Right? You know you're going to be in a hurry, right? And if you say you want to solve every single question, you may run out of time. So in this particular case, you might now start applying this rule. You can now spot the clues. You can now eliminate words that doesn't even make sense in that particular option. But you must study. You still have the time to study. So this is just like a plan B. Now here's what I want you to do after this video. Get about 50 JAMB questions, right? And then you are going to apply these tricks to any of the question which you do not immediately know the answer. After everything and you've marked yourself, you're going to track how many questions you actually got right by applying these tricks. And you're going to see that they actually work. So before you start using this, make sure you practice these tricks with past questions, because you also need to get a mastery of this trick. If this video just saved you from that terrible advice that I've been giving you, that you should only pick C whenever you don't know the answer, then you should be thanking God you found this video, right? Don't forget to like the video, and most importantly, please, I want to tell you this, share this video to 2 persons, just 2 of your friends, which you know that what they are going to need this to save them from this trap as well. Remember, you are a good friend, right? So just 2 of your main friends, so that they can also partake from this. Not also forget to subscribe to the channel, because in my next video I'm going to be talking about something very, very important. That's a video I actually promised you guys, and I'm revealing that thing to you guys, which I've not told anyone before. If you did not subscribe to the channel, you are going to be missing out on that video, and subscription costs you nothing. It's just you gaining from me. You just have to tap on the subscribe button, and that's all. Don't forget to put in the comment section whatever you're finding difficult. If you have any question you want to ask me pertaining to this video, or any question in general, you can put that in the comment section, and also tell me which of the tricks that I've mentioned, which of them blew your mind mainly, right? And study, and I will always be rooting for you all. See you at the top. And I want you to go to the comment section and type, I will not fail JAMB. Believe it. Don't just type it randomly. No, don't type it randomly. If you know you just want to type it randomly, then don't type. But if you have that faith within yourself that you are going to pass that exam and you are praying to God, then go to the comment section and type out, I will not fail JAMB. And by the grace of God, you are not going to fail the exam. Also, don't forget to put in your target score, your target course, and your target institution. But most importantly, put that your target score with faith. Bye, and I'll see you at the top.